Hey guys, this is AviArya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a street car racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. Welcome to my channel.
Good, thank you. Nice to see you. My pleasure. Where are you coming from today? I'm in New Hampshire in the U.S. Oh, nice. Lucky you. I'm on the other coast. Let me see if I have everything set up properly. Okay, I think we're good. Yep. Yep. Oh,
racer. Now, and I wanted to go overseas, meet more people, and study streetcar racing. So these were my two dreams. And in my 18-year-old friend circle, I was the only one who had a dream, and I was happy about that. One day, everything changed when my dad called me to his office, and he said, "I remember walking into his office as if it was yesterday. There was a red carpet on a wooden floor, and there was the smell of incense. You know, he had just finished his prayers, and there were these two landline phones. You know, these phones which had cords from coming from
yeah.
the walls. They were off the hook. My dad's phones were never off the hook. I knew there was a serious conversation happening, and so he said, "Son, I've lost a lot of money in my business, and we've had a family separation. Now, the only way that we can move forward is I can't send you overseas for studying. We we're selling the house in the next 3 months. We sold the 2 cars that we had, and as
Wow.
myself behind the reception of my dad's small 27-room motel. I was lost. I didn't know what to do. One day, an international tourist walked in, paid us in Dutch guilders, the currency of euros before the currency of Holland before the euros came in, and I was like, hang on. And I converted the money. It turned out to be double Indian rupees. I'm saying, hang on, if an international tourist can pay me double from what an Indian customer is paying, why don't I convert all 27 rooms into international tourists? That would be great. However, late in the 1990s, how do you get people to know about your motel? During that time, there was a new phenomenon on the market called the internet. And I was like, I need that. There were only two places in Delhi, the British School Library and the Sheraton Hotel. And both of them were prohibitively expensive. After 6 months, I saw an ad in the paper, Satyam Computers looking for cyber cafe partners. I approached the person, Rohit. Rohit is still a friend of mine after 25 years. I was one of the first people to approach him back then. After 3 months of unnecessary paperwork, he gave me a 6-computer cyber cafe in my dad's motel. Now I had 24-hour access to the slowest internet on the planet. Nothing would work except some websites never opened completely, but the chat was working. And on chats, I was talking to people. Somebody said, create a website. After 6 months of finding some people who are working for large companies, creating websites for American companies, I found people who said, I'll make it in 6 months. 6 months, we got a sketchy website done. Somebody said, put a toll-free number for different countries. Somebody said, write some articles and blogs about India travel. I did everything in the next 2-3 years that slowly we started getting queries. People started responding back and forth. I didn't even know they're real human beings. My first experience of electronic mail on the 15th of December, a family of 4 came. I'd gone to the airport, picked them up. They were real human beings, by the way. They came in, checked them into the hotel, room 302. They paid us $400 for a 14-day stay. That's when I remember telling myself this bloody internet thing worked, and it put down my effort.
Wow.
company. It did extremely well. Then on the basis of all these successes, by then TripAdvisor, Facebook, Google, all these companies came to India. They were already working with the large conglomerates. They all wanted to now work with smaller companies. So they reached out to me and they said, can you be an evangelist for us for small businesses? That what you've done. As you can see, I love talking. When they gave me an opportunity to speak, I grabbed the opportunity. I said, let's do it. So they took me around the world and I spoke on stages, told them how I converted my dad's hotel from 1 to 5. We did all of this. That's when people started coming to me and saying, Avi, can you do this for us? Can you do this for us? That's when I said, fine. So in 2009, with a 4-member team, completely bootstrapped, I started my own digital marketing agency called Internet Moguls. And we went from 4 to 225 people working with 700 clients in 10 countries in 11 years. It was a long journey, arduous, tiring, failures, all of that. But we built a very substantial company with lots of clients. The Marriott, the Hilton, Mercedes-Benz, some of the top clients around the world still continue to work with us. During that time, I got hired by 2-3 speaker bureaus to say, we'll represent you and we speak. And I started. And when people are saying what you do, so I tell this entire story that I told you in 8 minutes in under 8 seconds. How do you do that? I said, here goes. My name is AskAviArya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. So people said, wow, I like the way you storytell and all of that. But I sometimes started feeling fake. Because I talk about my 2 girls, my 6 dogs, my superwoman wife. They're all living in Vancouver, Canada for the last 15 years, and I'm going back and forth. And I can't get my brain to, I love my family, but I also love this baby that I created from scratch, Internet Moguls. And how does an entrepreneur explain to the world that I love my business as much as I love my family? Sorry for saying it, but I do, and I can't live without one or the other. But that meant that I'm taking 6 international flights, Vancouver to India, 6 times a year, and the rest of them domestic all over Asia. I was taking 52 flights a year for 3 years in a row. And I was very proud of it. I had this board of all my boarding passes and saying, this is how a company is built. And all the youngsters who joined my company said, wow, this is how it's built. But I was like, this is all rubbish. It's not working out. Kids are growing up. I'm missing. And I didn't want to be that kind of father. My dad was always there for me. I didn't want to be like this. So I remember one day coming back and started send an email to all my clients saying, we'll do video meetings. We'll do everything. And we give you a 5% discount on all the retainers. Almost nobody replied back to me. And the people who replied said, come on, this is not going to work. Even my team resisted. We can't do this. I said, we have to change it. Slowly but surely, we created Zoom rooms in the office. No more meetings, no more this. Slowly, we started doing it. We got about 10, 15%, 20% traction. And I started doing webinars to do sales instead of meeting people. Webinars for an agency was unheard of. I'm going and giving pitches to people saying, all the CMOs come in, I'm going to tell all of you people what I can do, and then we'll book individual calls so that everything could come onto videos. My efforts were working. My speaker bureau said, I love what you're doing in the video world. What's the system called? I said, there's no system. I just want to get back home to Vancouver, spend more time over there. That's why I'm doing all of these changes. They said, no, put a system around it because we want to showcase this as a workshop to our clients. So I put a system around it. I wrote a book, the Micro Video Mastery Method, the 33 micro videos that allow you to grow your business and stay close to your family. So this sort of took off. This became my message, how to run large businesses using videos. So videos for salespeople, all of that. And so that's when I got interested. And then all of that happened. Pandemic happened. Webinars took over. And I've been in Vancouver. I haven't gone back to India for a year. By the grace of God, the companies are fine. Everything is great. When I say great means the business is down in the hotel part of it. We still own and operate the hotels, but the agency is doing fantastic. Webinars are doing extremely well. And now, between me and my daughters, who are now, we're spending a lot of time together. We're on a mission to interview people around the world. We met them, and now we're talking to people online and meeting people like you who understand videos, who get it, who know like how it's done and broken down a format, so that we can take this message to more and more people through this podcast called Internet Moguls of the World. Thank you for your patience. That's my story so far.
Awesome. That's
awesome.
Great. Thank you.
For full respect, I just wanted to make sure I get your. What's the best way to pronounce your name? Lou Bortone. Okay.
Lou Bortone.
So I'm going to start record, and we're going to get right into the show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one more episode of the Internet Moguls of the World, where me and my daughters, we travel around the world, now virtually, and find experts, gems, who have leveraged the internet to grow their business and spend more time with their families. Today's guest is Lou Bortone. Lou, welcome to the Internet Moguls of the World show. Lou,
Thank you
I
so
always
much.
say
Thanks
the
for having
shortest
me.
distance
Appreciate
between
it.
two human hearts is always the story. You tell a perfect stranger a good story and you win a heart for life. And that's what social media is about, right? We're winning hearts every day. So my story is, my name is AskAviArya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. My dear friend Lou, what is your hero introduction?
Wow, that's a tough one. My name's Lou Bortone. I am the father of 23-year-old twins, 2 pugs.
Wow,
One
lovely.
is here. It's the way to keep her out of trouble. And I am a TV exec turned
Excellent.
video
I love
entrepreneur.
that. Can we have the names of your pugs? Hi.
Yes, this is Virginia, and Rocco is in the other room, hopefully napping, because I try to keep them close by when I'm doing podcasts and webinars and things like that, because they tend to get in a lot of trouble.
Love that. And I love the fact, I always wanted to be a twin with my brother, so I could send him, because my mom used to call us for homework. She used to say, okay, 1 hour of homework with the elder one, 1 hour with the other one. And I always wished if I had a twin, I could send my brother twice to do the homework, and I couldn't do it. So that was my only intention of having a twin. I'm sure it's a lot of fun having twins at home.
Yeah, and I have boy girls, so they couldn't pull that
Okay, got it.
particular trick. They're very close. They live in Boston, and I'm in about an
That
hour
is
north of
fantastic.
Boston, New
Families that
Hampshire.
live close by it's just like. Before we do that, I wanted to know, tell us something that you've never told anybody on a podcast, something about your childhood, like I was fond of streetcar racing, your first girlfriend, or,
Wow.
anything about your life that made you who you are.
One of the things I rarely, if ever, talk about is that I was in a rock and roll band, and we were this close to a record deal, but close doesn't matter in that business. But I had a lot of fun in the rock band. So
How old were you then?
my outlet to sort of, I was 18. Not enough, never enough. Yeah, well, this was, close to 20 years ago. I was in the TV business, and it was changing drastically and consolidating. And a lot of folks would talk about the intersection between the internet and TV. Even back then, they were calling it convergence.
Right.
And it took an extra 20 years, but it actually eventually happened. So I made the transition from TV in Los Angeles. I moved back east and realized that I can probably do this myself. The time that I realized that was my partner, who was a videographer, had this big camera, $15,000 camera, and then one day he sold it. And I'm like, "Why did you sell your camera?" He said, "Because I can do video with this." So that's when I knew, okay, this online video stuff is really has a future. So I mean, with a $500 iPhone or less,
Fantastic. So
you
that's
really
how the journey started.
do the same
But you
thing
made
as
a
the big
move all
boys.
the way from there. Was it your resolve to do whatever it takes?
Mm-hmm. In a way, but it was kind of driven by family, similar to you. My family was in Boston, and my wife and I had, at the time, the twins were 2. We were in Los Angeles. We didn't have a lot of family out there. So when my company got sold to Disney, I decided that was a good time to get out and move back east and try something else.
Why your fascination and belief and conviction in videos?
It's funny because I'm introverted and I'm shy, and I don't particularly like being on camera. So I like to help other folks who may be a little more camera shy get their message out. And what I believe is that video is the fastest and most effective way to get your message out to the world. And I want to, give other people that
Awesome.
ability and
So
try
tell
to
us,
empower them to get
yes,
their
so
messages
we
out to
also
the
we
world.
talk about shyness to awesomeness, find your brilliance. So talk to the introverted people who are listening over here. How should they get over their shyness and, find their awesomeness?
Mhm. You have to realize that your message matters, and you have to realize that it's more important to me to share my gifts with the world and my message than it is to get over your shyness. And when I first was doing this and was first on camera, I would put my kids on camera, my dog, anything to take the attention away from me. And then what you realize is that you can do this, and you're not going to look foolish. And even if your first videos are not that great, your next videos will get better. So if you really want to get your message out to the world, you just have to
Okay,
sort
so
of
it's not about
get
you, it's
over
the
it
other
and get
person.
on
So keep the
camera and
other
do the
person
best
in
you
mind.
can.
Like I always say, if you have a message in your heart, a product or a service that can go and change somebody's life, then you, my friend, may be doing a disservice to the world, society at large, by not sharing that message and hiding behind your shyness. But at the same time, I'm petrified. Lou, I can't. Give me something.
Exactly.
Give me a hack or a tip on how I should make that happen. Like you said, maybe get a dog with you so that the attention goes from, so give us a few hacks.
Well, yes. Well, I mean, the great thing is that if you really don't necessarily have to be on camera, you can do videos that are PowerPoint webinars or screen shares or animation. So there are other ways to get your message out. I mean, at some point you want to be on camera so that people can see you and build that know, like, and trust. But again, it's really just a matter of starting, realizing that your first few videos may not be that great. I think Facebook Live is a great training ground because Facebook, when you do video, Facebook Live, it's usually less formal and it's usually less pressure. So I have a lot of my clients start there and kind of build a little bit of confidence before they do other kinds of videos. So live video, live streaming is a great way. Again, it's not highly produced in some cases. If your lights are a little bit off, no big deal. And then I think people realize that once they get started, they at least I know my clients say, "Oh, well, that wasn't too bad. I can do this."
Like there are three things you need to get known, you need to get leads, and you need to get sales. How do videos fit into all three aspects?
Yes. I think that video accelerates the sales process and gets you there quicker, whether it's awareness or leads or conversions and sales, because, as I mentioned, video really helps build know, like, and trust. People can see you on camera. They get a sense of who you are. Like, you shared your story and people say, "Oh my God, you've got 6 dogs." And then you have to talk about, so I think it's really the know, like, and trust factor that helps make that connection and really helps move the process along more quickly. You can say, "Oh, well, if I've been blogging, people will get to know you over the course of time and they know your articles." But if they see you and hear you,
and what about, like your
camera,
website has
that's
99 video ideas. Can you share some amazing video ideas with us over here?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I actually have a little card deck with all different ideas on it. So sometimes I just say, okay, go and pick an idea or any topic, like what's your favorite movie? And you can talk about your favorite movie and maybe how that applies to business. And I am a big fan of the Godfather movies. And I don't really necessarily apply that to business other than say, well, if you really want to sell something, you have to make people an offer they can't refuse. And that comes from my favorite movie and blah, blah, blah. So it just gives you a topic
give us a
and
couple
something,
more.
a starting point to talk about. Sure. You can talk about, I'm pulling these right off these cards, the top 5 influencers in your industry, which is a great way to sort of give shout outs to people. You can talk about your favorite productivity app. I mean, most people have phones these days and there's a million apps on them. You can talk about your favorite iPhone app. You can do an about me video, which is great because that really helps share some of your story to folks and maybe share some facts that people may not know about. So there's really no limit except your imagination. I mean, you can do anything, look around the room and say, "Oh, I'm going to talk about how we got this rescue dog from China," and things like that. So, and eventually, once you kind of get comfortable talking about stuff like that, you can bring it back to your business. It doesn't always have to be about sales or your business. It can just be, hey, get to know me and understand who we are, and
Right,
that way
right.
you'll be more
Okay.
comfortable when I
So
do
when
have
it comes
something
to
to sell.
entrepreneurs, who have a business, what is your strategy to get them started on videos?
To get them started, I say before you even do the video, think about your goal. What do you want to do? Do you want to get people on the phone? Do you want to sell a product? Do you want to sell a course? So begin with the end in mind and then reverse engineer that and decide what's the best way to do that. So before we even talk about videos, we talk about, what is your business goal? If you say, oh, I want to sell, 100 courses. Okay, well, let's backtrack a little bit and figure out how we can use videos to accomplish that goal. A lot of people just start with the
Right.
video and throw things against the wall and hope something sticks when you really want to use it. Yeah. But again, you just have to use it as a tool to achieve your business objective. So it's not necessarily that
I
video
understand.
is
That's
the end.
very
It's that
important.
video is the
Video,
means to an
just
end.
creating a video is a means to an end. So you must know the end objective very clearly. What is it that you want to convey? And then use all these card ideas that Lou has. Lou, can you give us 2 more card ideas? Those are very fascinating.
Sure. My top 10 tools. What are the top 10 tools that you use in your business that you want to share that you like? I talk about Loom video, where you can share video emails, and Zoom, obviously, and especially in the last year, all the tools that we've used
Got it.
to
So talk
stay
about your tools.
connected
And
while
one
we've
more
been
idea.
in sort of a lockdown. Sure. You can talk about your best day ever. So if you can remember, what was your best day, whether it was growing up or whether it was a year ago or 10 years ago, it's a great jumping off point to just tell people a little bit about your background and why that's important to you or why you
moving
remember
on,
it.
when it comes to webinars, there's also videos. A lot of people say, Avi, you know what? I'm doing a live session with my audience, my student community, 150 entrepreneurs coming in, and I'm talking to them. Everybody's on screen. Everybody can see each other on screen, and one guy is talking nonstop, and he's like, I'm scared of cameras. I'm trying to talk in front of people. I said, my dear friend, you're in front of 100 people right now.
Any screen is video. And again, it might be a webinar, it might be a little video mail or FaceTime that you're doing with your phone, but it's all video. So the more you get comfortable with that, the better. And again, as you know, particularly in the last year when we have not been able to do in-person events or networking events,
Right.
we've really had
So
to fall back
do you have
on
any
video
strategies
to
for
stay
people when they
connected
do
and
their
engaged.
webinars?
For webinars, again, I think you have to treat it like an event and promote it. A lot of people just think, oh, I'll just announce that I'm doing a webinar and people will show up. And that may have been the case a few years ago when webinars were a little bit more novel, but now that, they're constant and always happening, you really have to give people a reason to want to attend and talk about the benefit, that nobody wants to show up and just hear you talk about yourself or your product the whole time. You really want to see, what is the viewer going to leave this webinar with? What is the outcome or the benefit that they can have? So I like to give a lot of value on the webinars and not use it as a sales pitch, but use it as a way to share, important information
Lou,
or valuable
tell us,
information that people can leave right away.
do you
and
suggest
use
your
it right
clients
away.
outdoor videos, indoor videos, stay in your room videos, real life vlogging videos? Well, how do you suggest different videos to different people?
It depends on the client and their audience. So part of it is like knowing where does your audience hang out and what does your audience want to see from you. And the other part of it is, I always talk about, people have to find their video sweet spot, because some people love being on camera. Some people would rather do PowerPoint slideshows. Some people would rather do Facebook Live. Some people would rather do pre-recorded videos. So once you find your sweet spot, whether that's live video or animated video or PowerPoints, that's a good way for you to reach your people, because if you're more comfortable
that
doing
means
it, you can
it's
do
almost
more
like
of
saying,
it.
do you like chicken or do you like beef or do you like vegetarian? So you have to try a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I always encourage my folks, do something outdoors with your phone, do something a Zoom interview or something like this with another person, so you can see how that goes. And eventually, people come upon, they say, I really like doing these interview videos. I think I'm going to do more
tell us
of
a little
those.
bit about your company and your work and how you help people.
Sure. Gosh, I've been doing this for over a dozen years. And if you had told me that I would be an entrepreneur when I first started, I would say, no way, because I liked the structure of having a company and a boss and all that. And what I realized along the way was that, you really can make your own way. And I did it almost not by choice necessarily, because my company had been sold. And when I came back east, I just decided, this internet thing is, this has legs. So I just kind of, jumped on that bandwagon a bit during the dot-com bubble back in I think it was the early 2000s, and really just had to evolve and change. I mean, the fun thing about being an entrepreneur is if something isn't working today, you can try something else tomorrow. So I made a lot of mistakes over time, but realized that what I was best at was helping people take the power of video in their business, no matter what their business is, and grow their businesses more with it. Whether you're a lawyer or a chiropractor or a yoga instructor, it doesn't really matter. Video can help you in almost every business.
So tell us,
I can't really think of any business where it wouldn't
your
help.
message to entrepreneurs who are listening and they're getting inspired by your journey. You moved from one coast to the other, started a business. You were working in a structured job environment.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are like right now on the fence, should I or should I not? Should I? What would be your advice to people?
I think at the end of the day, it's if you want to control your own destiny and not be subject to is my boss going to give me a raise this year, and is my company going to go out of business? Then you really have to decide, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you're in control. You make the rules. You get to decide who you work with and who you don't work with. So that's, it's not an easy jump to make. But when I realized, I had 25 people working for me when I worked for the entertainment company in Los Angeles. And then to come back here, it's like, oh my God, I've got to do this all myself. It's a little scary, but it's also a little empowering, because you realize you can really do things the way you want and build the business the way you want to build it. So if you want to say, I want to work noon to 9 p.m.
And what are the
instead of 9
challenges
to
that you
5,
faced when you
then
started your
you
own
can do
business?
that. Well, part of it was honestly working from home, which I know most people are doing it now, but 10, 12 years ago, it was not as common. So a lot of it was just getting used to, okay, I've got little kids running around the house or dogs running back and forth. So part of it was just adjusting to working from home and being disciplined enough to actually, what I realized right away was this is not going to be a 9 to 5 kind of thing. I'm going to have to, especially when they're younger, I'm going to have to work during their naps. I'm going to have to work after their soccer game. But on the bright side,
oh my God,
as you know, I was able to go to all the baseball and soccer games and cool things. And what I know now, 20 years later, is like you can't really get those years back. So
that is so lovely. I love that. I've got two more questions for you before we wrap this up. One, so for people who are wanting to get in sort of follow your footsteps and actually start helping people do videos, what do you think of that as a business for others?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the great thing is that you don't need a lot of fancy equipment. The ability to broadcast to the world is now at our fingertips and on our phones. Whereas when I first started in business a million years ago, there were, a handful of cable networks and 4 TV networks, and they had they controlled the screen. And now the screen is whatever you want it to be. So it's like my kids who are 23 next week, they don't make any distinction between television, an iPhone, an iPad, or Xbox. It's all just information or entertainment on a screen. So I would say if folks want to get into that, they can realize that.
And my last question. Now, this is a question, because we like to go behind the scenes. We like to understand the entrepreneur. So it might get a little personal. Some people feel it's overwhelming and not. I mean, so if you feel it's too personal, you can choose to sort of ignore it. All right. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Are you ready? Who's your favorite superhero?
Yeah.
Alrighty, and
Ooh,
why?
That's a good one. I would have to say Batman. Because he's a millionaire, so that's pretty awesome. But because he's also a bit of a loner,
I
and
love
I
that,
guess
because
you'd
why I
even
ask
say
this question
introvert.
is
So
because
sort
you
of that
see in others
mystery
what you have
loner
inside
kind
of
of
you,
thing.
and you explained it so well. We look at everything and we say this is who we love because we have a little bit of
Ah,
that. So you explained it so well that I like Batman because of these two reasons. So Lou, thank you very much. My dad always says the most expensive thing you can ask from people is not their money, but it's their time.
my
You gave us your time today, and you're going to be inspiring lots of entrepreneurs through this podcast. Thank you very much for giving us your time and on the Internet Mogul Show. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget at the end of this show, give me your 3 best takeaways. Go to Instagram, post your 3 best takeaways, tag AskAviArya on Instagram, and one lucky winner gets one book on entrepreneurship couriered to their home every single Sunday morning. So thank you very much for listening and watching this show. Once again, my name is Avi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a street car racer, turned hotelier, now social media marketer, and founder of Internet Mogul. Thank you, Lou. Thank you very much. Alrighty,
thank
that
you.
was fantastic. That even if they
Right,
did,
thanks.
that's
Well,
what
at
makes
least
a
the,
good
the
show.
dog
I'm
stayed quiet
absolutely
for a
fine with that.
change.
Lou, are you active on Instagram?
Mhm.
Okay, okay. So I'll send.
Not so much on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. But I will definitely
I'll
promote.
I'll
I mean, I have an account, so I'll
I'll also
definitely
send you an
promote
invite. So I just wanted to stay in touch.
and
I don't
talk
want
about
it to
this
be
when it comes
just
up.
just a one-off thing. And like I said, we are in Vancouver, Canada. We run an agency here and in India.
Yeah,
At
thank
any point in time, you have a book coming out, a promotion event, whatever, and you need us. We have a very decent following online. Anything that
you.
we can do to help you, I'd love to remain a friend for life. And so feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Yes, and once
Thanks
again,
so
a
much. I'm
very,
so
very
glad I
big
had the
happy
opportunity to
birthday
meet
to
you
your
and
kids
talk with
for
you.
next week. Alrighty, bye for now.
Oh, that's right. It's on Sunday. So thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.